man versus monster, mage versus man, creature, when Geralt turned to the little deer and remarked on how this really wasn't its.
Hey guys, we are back। मैं हूं सत्यम,
मैं हूं पार्वती।
आप सबको हमारे चैनल में स्वागत है। तो दोस्तों, आज हम रिएक्शन करने वाले हैं द विचर सीरीज का सीजन 1 का जितने भी सारे एपिक बैटल है उस सीजन में, उसका आज हम रिएक्शन वीडियो करें। तो वीडियो बहुत जबरदस्त होने वाला है, बहुत मजा आएगा और आप सबको भी हमारा रिएक्शन बहुत मजा आएगा। तो वीडियो पर बने रहिए। तो वीडियो को शुरू करने से पहले अगर आप सब मेरे चैनल पर नए हैं तो प्लीज मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए और साथ ही साथ बेल आइकन को ऑल पे सेट कर दीजिए। और आप इंस्टाग्राम में भी फॉलो कर सकते हैं, आपको लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा, तो जाके मुझे फटाक से फॉलो कर दीजिए। तो चलिए दोस्तों, आज का रिएक्शन वीडियो शुरू करते हैं।
Seriously binged the first season of The Witcher as soon as it came out, and it did not disappoint. Now, with the season 2 already confirmed, all we have to do is wait. While we do so, we thought we'd take a look back at some of the most epic fight scenes that this awesome show has to offer. If you've been watching The Witcher, you know that this show knows how to execute a fight scene. Whether it's man versus monster, mage versus man, monster versus monster, or Witcher versus pack of tiny demon-like things, The Witcher has truly satisfied the need for some good old-fashioned fantasy throwdowns in the wake of Game of Thrones. As it was the very first fight in the series and our introduction to Geralt and the general world of The Witcher, we couldn't start this list off with any fight other than Geralt versus the giant spider thing, also known as the Kikamore. If you had any questions about what this show was going to be, this first throwdown went ahead and answered them all for you within the first minute and 35 seconds. Was it going to be violent? Yup. Gross? For sure. Feature tons of CGI monsters getting slashed to pieces by Geralt and his trusty sword? You bet. Even the moment after he had vanquished the 8-legged creature, when Geralt turned to the little deer and remarked on how this really wasn't its day, it told us something about the kind of character he was going to be. Even though he did go on to beat it, still, at least he was nice about it first. This fight was an absolutely epic way to start off the series, and that's why it will always have a special place in our hearts and in our list of best Witcher fights. RENFRI is definitely one of the most formidable characters in all of The Witcher, even if she didn't make it past episode 1. When she and Geralt meet, it's clear right away that she isn't like everyone else. First of all, she doesn't hate him for who he is, and she isn't afraid of him. Later, when she confronts him in the woods, she tells Geralt that she used to be a princess before her attempted assassination turned her into a survivor on a quest for revenge. It is this quest that puts her and Geralt at odds at the end of the first episode, and their fight is amazing for many reasons. When her need for vengeance goes too far, the two cross swords in the middle of the marketplace, and she proves that she is not to be reckoned with. While Geralt wins in the end, it is not a happy victory, and he lets her down gently as she passes away. Before she does, however, she tells him about Ciri and how she will be his destiny. To say that the showdown between VILGEFORTZ and CAHIR was a long time coming is a bit of an understatement. VILGEFORTZ has spent a couple of episodes really talking up his sword fighting abilities, so it was about time that we got to see him put that prowess to good use. We know that CAHIR was also lauded as a master sword fighter, so there was no one better for the mage to take on than this sinister leader of the Nilfgaardian army. At Yennefer's urging, VILGEFORTZ teleports out of the sky and immediately takes down a handful of the opposing soldiers. When he and CAHIR face off, CAHIR is clearly an impressive opponent, disarming the mage over and over. But with magically reappearing swords, VILGEFORTZ attacks with determination every time. Though he is ultimately defeated after being kicked down the side of a mountain, he put up an awesome fight, and it is always a good time to see two impressive warriors face off. Episode 8 was chock full of insane fight scenes, and in true Witcher style, it started off with a bang. When Geralt comes across an old man in the middle of the woods, the man explains that he just stumbled across a group of refugees who had all been attacked by something, or someone. As he tries to pay them respect and cover their bodies, one of the creatures who inflicted their wounds rises up out of the ground and grabs him by the legs. Just as things are looking pretty dismal for this kind old man, Geralt's sword intervenes and he proceeds to take down a handful of these creepy creatures called NEKKERS. Much like the velociraptors in Jurassic Park, they may be small, but these guys pack a serious punch. Or bite. While Geralt dispatches them all pretty quickly, one of them leaves him with a nasty bite that almost does him in. Luckily for him, the kind old man from before somehow hauled Geralt's massive body onto his wagon and takes him off to be healed. Or, at least, that was the original plan. Things have a way of going awry for poor, well-meaning Geralt. It wouldn't be a proper fantasy show without at least one siege, and The Witcher delivers one of the best all-out battles in TV history. As the Nilfgaardian army and their leader Fringilla make their way to the bridge at Sodden Hill, Yennefer and the rest of the mages prepare themselves for an all-out war. A magic war. The amount of epic magic in this battle make it truly unique from anything we've seen before in other fantasy shows or movies. Sure, we've seen magic before, but with 22 powerful sorceresses and sorcerers all working together, things were bound to get mystical. Fringilla starts things off with a cascade of fireballs, which we learn is forbidden because of the fatal effect that it has on the witch who performs the spell. Yennefer deflects them left and right. But then, things get real, and the mages completely waste the giant army with their magic. There are deadly mushrooms that release poisonous spores, teleportation, telekinesis, a portal full of arrows that rains down on Sodden Hill, and a metal box full of magic worms that will be giving us nightmares for a long time. This amazing battle did not disappoint, and all we can hope for is more magic in Season 2. Episode 4 of The Witcher was definitely a highlight of the whole first season, and the epic battle that took place during the engagement party for the young Princess of Sintra was a highlight. Queen Calanthe has decided that her daughter should marry a man who will serve their political needs, but it turns out halfway through dinner that the princess has other plans. In bursts Duny, a knight with whom the princess is deeply in love. Oh yeah, and he has the head of a hedgehog. It's a whole curse thing. Blowing right past that, the queen becomes furious at her daughter's disobedience and orders all of her guards to take out Duny after Geralt refuses to hurt him. Once the guards rush the hedgehog man, it is clear that he is outnumbered, and Geralt jumps in at just the right moment. What follows is a giant brawl between, well, literally everyone in the room, until even the queen herself gets involved. She proves more than capable with a sword. While it all eventually ends in peace, it is a pretty classic medieval brawl, and it makes for a great viewing experience. Watching Yennefer come into her powers is one of the best parts of the show, and episode 4 gave us a chance to see just that. Yennefer is traveling by carriage with Queen Callis after being instructed by the king to deliver her and her newborn baby girl safely to their destination. Just when she has been lamenting about how her life isn't exactly her own, the carriage is attacked by an unknown assailant and all of the guards are taken out. The two women finally see their attacker, an assassin whose weapon of choice is a giant insect-like creature with vicious talons. Yennefer opens a portal and they wind up in the middle of a desert. She realizes that the man has been paid to track down the queen for not providing the king with a son, and they embark on a chase through many portals until Yennefer tires of her queen's insults and teleports away without her. She does return to save the baby, but is just a second too late, as it doesn't survive the assassin's knife as he throws it through the portal after her. Henry Cavill has officially come out to say that his favorite fight of the entire first season is Geralt's battle against the terrifying Striga, and we can see why. The episode begins with Geralt arriving in the kingdom of Temeria, tasked with hunting down a mysterious beast who has been regularly wasting the villagers. Incensed that their king doesn't seem to care, the citizens of the kingdom are skeptical of Geralt at first because another Witcher has already come and gone. When it turns out that the first guy was actually defeated by the monster, Geralt figures out that it was a Striga, a woman who has been cursed to turn into a violent creature during the full moon. So, Geralt goes in with the plan to fight the beast until dawn, when she returns to her human state. The fight that ensues is one of the bloodiest and most suspenseful of the entire series, and even Geralt doesn't come out of it without some serious injuries. There had to be a dragon at some point, didn't there? We knew there would be, and when it finally appeared in episode 6, we were not disappointed. Sure, maybe it wasn't the biggest dragon we've ever seen, but the fight surrounding it was an awesome one to behold. When Geralt is invited to join a team tasked with defeating a green dragon and win a bunch of treasure in the meantime, He initially refuses with the explanation that he doesn't fight dragons. But when Yennefer appears as a member of one of the opposing teams, he agrees without another word. Yennefer, wanting to defeat the dragon in order to find a cure for her infertility, finds her way into the dragon's cave. They then find out that the dragon they were tasked to destroy was actually a mother defending her baby. And suddenly, the fight becomes Yennefer and Geralt defending the dragon egg against a horde of men coming to destroy it. There's plenty of awesome swordplay, a talking dragon who used to be a man, and a magical kiss. What more could you possibly want? While the show is called The Witcher, it became very clear towards the end that Yennefer was going to play an important, if not equally important character in the series, especially in Episode 8, in which Geralt spends most of his time floating in and out of a Nekkar bite delirium, and his biggest battle is simply to stay conscious. Meanwhile, Episode 8 really allows Yennefer to finally step into her power, and the moment when she is given the freedom to fully unleash her chaos is truly awe-inspiring. She does a great job of defending Sodden Hill during the massive battle, but things take a bit of a turn for the worse. Just when we might think that all is lost, Yennefer is urged to let her chaos explode. And boy, does she. She has clearly been waiting for this moment for a long time and finally unleashes everything she has inside of her. Yennefer releases an absolutely devastating surge of fire that forces the advancing army back far enough for help to arrive and come to the mage's aid. We knew that Yennefer was powerful, but finally getting to see everything that she was made of in this moment was beyond satisfying.
मैं जानता हूँ इसको कुछ समझ में नहीं आया होगा। इसकी शक्ल को देख के पता चल जा रहा है कि इसको कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया, क्योंकि इसको ज़्यादातर इंग्लिश मालूम नहीं है। मुझे भी इतना भी मालूम नहीं है, लेकिन मैं थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ लेता हूँ। तो ये था वो विचर सीजन का सीजन 1, और इसका सीजन 2 अक्टूबर महीना को रिलीज हो जाएगा। तो सीजन 1 बहुत खतरनाक की एंडिंग हुआ है, और उसको मैं सीजन 2 का बहुत दिन से इंतजार कर रहा हूँ। तो बाकी देखते हैं अक्टूबर महीना के बाद इसका सीजन 2 आखिरकार किस तरह का होता है। तो आज के लिए इतना ही हमारा रिएक्शन वीडियो। तो आपको हमारा रिएक्शन वीडियो कैसा लगा प्लीज हमें कमेंट कीजिए। तो अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगा प्लीज लाइक और शेयर भी कीजिए। तो आज के लिए इतना ही। ऑल द बेस्ट, बाय।
देखते रहिए